Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from our sponsor. Daily Compliance News for June 5, 2023, the Dylan Tokar edition. And we begin with that story from LinkedIn, where it was reported that Dylan Tokar, the reporter at the Wall Street Journal Risk and Compliance Journal, is celebrating his 4-year anniversary. So I wanted to give a shout out to Dylan. He is one of the great resources in the compliance community, obviously from a different angle from many of us, because he's a reporter at the Wall Street Journal, but he's been there for 4 years. He's pumped out some great stories, broke some great stories, a big part of the compliance scene. So I wanted to give Dylan a shout out. If you've never checked him out, check out the Risk and Compliance Journal. It is in the Daily Wall Street Journal. And so thanks, Dylan, and congrats on your 4-year anniversary. Next up from Reuters, probably not surprisingly, but the Louisiana Attorney General is trying to throw out the civil rights laws passed in the 60s. They claim that make claims that based on the U.S. Supreme Court's rulings that they can dismantle all federal agencies that regulate business, and that, of course, would extend, although completely illogically, to civil rights laws. So white supremacy rears its ugly head yet again. Next up, also from the Wall Street Journal Risk and Compliance Journal, this time Mingy Sun reporting, 2 other tipsters have come forward and asked for an appeal of the SEC whistleblower award in the Ericsson case. That was the largest ever, the $279 million award. One of the whistleblowers is disclosed, Lise Olaf Ninzel, a former Ericsson executive. The other remains anonymous in keeping with whistleblower protection rules. And these appeals illustrate the limited visibility the public has into the process, how the agency decides who qualifies for a payoff based upon tips. So it's going to be interesting to see how these are. Obviously, the award was eye-catching. It's not clear when any of these claimants came forward, although Ninzel was claimant 3 in the SEC order and came forward in 2016, handing over materials to the SEC showing methods Ericsson used to obtain contracts through bribes. And our final story also comes to us from the Wall Street Journal, this time Ian Talley reporting that U.S. firms raise corruption concerns in legal battle over Ukraine grain deal. American investors allege Ukrainian company defaulted on loans and that parts of the Kiev government are blocking efforts to recover $130 million in assets. So corruption once again raises its head in Ukraine. It's going to be a lot of work for the construction job of the century. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.